depression a sign of my low iman? One of my biggest pet peeves is when people say things like, a believer should never be sad. The reason why this is such a problematic statement is because sadness in and of itself is a normal human emotion, just like happiness and fear and anger. These are creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and everything that Allah has created, He created with a purpose. Even sadness has a purpose. Now, the problem is when sadness turns to despair. So to answer the first question, can a believer have iman and still feel sadness? Well, of course they can, because the Prophet ﷺ felt sadness. He went through the year of sadness after he lost his wife and his uncle. Yaqub alayhi salam had so much sadness that he cried until he went blind when he lost Yusuf alayhi salam. Sadness doesn't mean that you have low iman. However, what iman does for us as believers is that it protects us from despair. And so we have to really be careful about these terms and how we misuse these terms. And we have to be very, very careful to understand the deep difference between sadness, a normal human emotion that has a purpose, and despair or hopelessness. Sadness is something that's part of being human. Despair and hopelessness is from shaitan. Shaitan is always trying to make us give up. Shaitan wants us to say, well, there's no point, so just stop trying. That is actually a shaitani thought. However, a person can go through grief and can go through sadness. As long as that person has iman, then that iman will make them continue to have hope even when they're in pain. And one thing that you'll notice is when you look at the dua of Ayyub alayhi salam, you find this within that dua that Ayyub alayhi salam says, أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Indeed, indeed, distress has befallen me. That he is acknowledging his distress, وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. See, even while he was in his most difficult time and he was being tested year after year, he's still continuing to have hope in the mercy of Allah. So when we go through our difficult times, it doesn't mean that you have low iman because you're sad. However, let that iman make you acknowledge that things can get better, that things will get better, and continue to